Can a former president be prosecuted for actions taken while in office? This is a question that has been plaguing the minds of many since former President Donald Trump was charged with federal election interference. In the heart of this debate is the concept of presidential immunity. The principle of presidential immunity is not new. It's been a part of our political discourse for centuries, protecting sitting presidents from lawsuits that could potentially disrupt their duties. But what happens when a president leaves office? Does this immunity extend to actions taken during their tenure? This is the question Special Counsel Jack Smith has posed to the Supreme Court in relation to Donald Trump's federal election interference charges. The charges against Trump are severe, involving accusations of obstructing the presidential electoral process and violating federal criminal law. Trump, however, has pleaded not guilty. Trump's legal team has taken a bold stance, contending that he holds absolute immunity from prosecution for actions taken while in office. They've filed a motion to dismiss the case entirely on these grounds. This move was met with resistance from the judge overseeing the case, who rejected the motion. Unfazed, Trump's legal team appealed to the circuit court. In an extraordinary move, Smith has asked the Supreme Court to step in and decide the issue of presidential immunity. This is not a request made lightly. The Supreme Court's decision could have far-reaching implications, potentially determining whether a former president can be prosecuted for actions taken while in office. This case isn't just about one man, it's about the very fabric of our democracy. It asks us to consider the extent of a president's power and responsibility, and whether they can be held accountable once they leave office. The question of immunity is now in the hands of the Supreme Court. Will they side with Trump, or will they allow the trial to proceed? As we dive deeper into this legal labyrinth, it's clear that the stakes are high. The question of presidential immunity is not a simple one. It's a complex issue that is steeped in historical precedent, legal jargon, and political maneuvering. The battleground is set. On one side we have Trump's legal team, armed with their interpretation of the Constitution, arguing that a president is immune from prosecution for actions taken while in office. On the other side we have Special Counsel Jack Smith, who believes that no one, not even the president, is above the law. The heart of this argument lies in the interpretation of the Constitution. Trump's legal team argues that the Constitution provides a blanket immunity to sitting presidents. They claim that this immunity extends even after a president leaves office, protecting them from prosecution for actions taken while in office. Smith, on the other hand, contends that this interpretation is flawed. He argues that the Constitution does not provide such absolute immunity. Instead, he believes that a president can be held accountable for their actions, regardless of whether they are in office or not. This legal battle isn't just about Trump, it's about the very essence of our democracy. It's about the balance of power, about the accountability of the highest office. It's about our faith in the system and the principles we hold dear. Who will prevail in this legal standoff? Only time will tell. As we wait for the Supreme Court's decision, we're reminded of the immense responsibility it carries. The stakes are high and the world is watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe so we can keep giving you updated information. The Supreme Court has agreed to consider the request for a ruling on presidential immunity on an expedited basis. In this fascinating turn of events, the nation's highest court has been called upon to make a decision of monumental importance. Special Counsel Jack Smith has made an extraordinary move, one that could potentially reshape the landscape of presidential power and accountability. He has requested the Supreme Court's intervention, seeking a swift resolution to a matter that has been a subject of fervent debate: the issue of presidential immunity. The Supreme Court, renowned for its role in interpreting the Constitution and making decisions that shape the fabric of our nation, now finds itself at the epicenter of this groundbreaking case. Its role is pivotal, as the court's decision will not only impact the immediate case at hand, but also set the tone for future interpretations of presidential immunity. This case is not just about one individual, it's about the very essence of our democratic system. It raises fundamental questions about the balance of power, about the accountability of the highest office. It's about the extent to which a president can be held liable for actions taken while in office. The Supreme Court's decision will carry significant weight. Its interpretation of presidential immunity could redefine the boundaries of presidential power and influence the trajectory of our nation's governance. As we await the court's decision, we're reminded of the immense responsibility the Supreme Court carries. The stakes are high, and the world is watching. The Supreme Court's decision could set a precedent for future cases involving presidential immunity. The stakes are high. This is not just a case about Trump, it's a case about the accountability of the highest office in the land. So let's delve into the broader implications this case has on the horizon. It's not just about one man, one president, or even one administration. This case brings into sharp focus the bedrock principles of our democracy: accountability and the rule of law. The Supreme Court's decision, whichever way it swings, will set a precedent, a legal benchmark for future presidents. If the court rules in favor of Trump, it could effectively solidify the concept of absolute immunity for presidents. This would mean that any president, while in office, could potentially be immune from prosecution for actions taken, no matter how severe. On the other hand, if the court rules against Trump, it could signal a shift, a clear message that no one, not even the holder of the highest office, is above the law. This could have profound implications for future presidents, who might have to think twice before making decisions that could potentially land them in legal hot water once they leave office. And it's not just about America. The world is watching closely, as this decision could influence how other democracies view the balance of power and accountability in their own systems. The Supreme Court's decision could redefine the boundaries of presidential power and accountability. The world watches with bated breath.